You that have mind to go and demolish House of Assembly, you cannot even do a press conference to address this issue. Now you have so these are the issues. Is it the ordinary person in River State that is supposed to fight for Fubara to go and sit down in government house?
He brought out a statement, a press
That
statement.
useless statement, in my opinion. So if he has mind, society, he has mind to demolish a whole House of Assembly. He has that kind of mind to go against the person that bought form for him and made him governor against the wish of the people. Because let's be honest, he benefited from rigging. So if you have mind to do all this, so where is the mind now? So that is the leadership that David is talking about. David, go ahead. David.
I don't know if any of us have experienced state of emergency. If you've experienced a military coup, yesterday was a military coup. A strategy to topple the state government was, and I think I read somewhere I think they've taken down that tweet where the leadership of the National Assembly acknowledged that they got the president got the permission to declare state of emergency and suspend the River State governor.
It is not even permission that is required. It is not even permission that is required.
Yeah, they didn't take it down. They did.
Yeah, they're taking it down. And I am also aware that the suspended, defected lawmakers have already applauded the suspension. That's the 27 lawmakers, the River State House of Assembly members. They've applauded the suspension. So what does this tell you? These things are all streets play. If you have ever been close to an incumbent or close to a very strong political mafia, you will understand how they play their game. Everything rise and fall on the table of negotiation. At the end of the day,
there's something that I want to make very clear. What is clear? Let's not mince words. We're not going to be mincing words on this space. Me, I don't like running around. You mentioned something about President Tinubu. That is a man of action. He says very little words, and he does what he wants to do. Wike is the one that talks, and also Wike, unlike Tinubu, Wike talks a lot and does a lot. But Tinubu talks very little and does a lot. But what I'm noticing is that we are having opposition parties, particularly people like Atiku, and this similar Ifubaya, for example.
Oh, please, we don't have opposition parties in Nigeria. Let us not give credit to what
the level
is
of
not
cowardice.
In existence.
David, let's call it a spade. Similar Ifubara is behaving like a major coward. That's what I'm thinking. I might be wrong, but this is a major, because you cannot go and be demolishing House of Assembly. The same you. Claiming you are whatever you are not. Now they don't pursue you for government, and you don't carry your bag with your tail on your legs. And this is the same person that was the accountant of Wike. He knows where all the bodies are buried. What does that mean? Is this whole thing, Anyway, David, go ahead.
See, Steve, there's something you need to understand. Fubara at this time has been is powerless. There's little or nothing he can do. Look at how everything played out. Where do you run to if you have issues? It is the judiciary. The judiciary, with that missing word, has been captured. During the budget presentation, sometime the president made a statement where they just jokingly laughed over it, where he said, "You are all re-elected." And Nigerians thought it's a joke or the man is just capping. Go and study from 1999 to this very moment, the political means or the political pattern of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed. Go and study it very well. How he plays his game and all that. Right or wrong, we may not agree because of the evil and corruption that comes, or the effect that comes with everything that plays out. But there is one thing that is certain. Before he attacks, he strategizes and he aims. When he aims, he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. That is not the kind of man that you, as an opposition, will sit back and be putting Twitter press statements. And you want to take power. Power is not given. Power is not given willingly. It is taken by force.
Mr.
So
David, every strategy Tinubu is using today is almost the same that he learned from Obasanjo. Obasanjo's second tenure was Ghana must go. That is, let my people go. Tinubu is not using any new tactics. If you are there today, you want to do everything he's doing now, you can do it with a snap. It's just for you to turn your heart to be evil, then you start doing it. Are you with me? So it's a give and take negotiation, like you said. Just like he told them.
Osati, we have a short memory span in Nigeria. Obasanjo is the good guy now.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah,
He's the good guy.
Thank you,
very
Steve.
devilish. You understand? He learned all this wicked thing from him now. Fire shade that we are talking now is aid.
You
Agbe's
remember,
aid.
Osati, remember that Obasanjo seized Lagos allocation. Tinubu was funding
Yes,
Lagos State
now, yes,
by himself.
now. Everything Tinubu is doing now, they did it to him, and he was lamenting. Now he's doing it to somebody. So we will not forget anyone. The only thing I'm standing for, because my holy Bible said, if anybody is doing unrighteous, evil, wicked thing, and you call it that evil thing righteous, they say you also are part of it. And when one is doing something righteous and you are calling it evil, so all this scenario, why I'm fighting this illegality is not because of Ubara, it's just the nature of why will you just suspend a democratic government. All these things is not benefiting Nigeria in any way. The people in Rivers, all of
At
them, not
all,
benefiting them
at
at all.
all, at all, at all, at all,
So
at all. Let me
continue,
quickly
sir. Continue.
round up so that others can have their mic. So what I am saying in essence is that
Hello,
Well,
David. You are rubber banding. Check your network. Check your network.
your network. If I you guys are even trying, if you are in
who we
Nigeria,
are
the
we've
network price
come
now
to a
in Nigeria.
conclusion and said we are tired. We are tired and we want things to change for the best.
All right,
Then
David, hold on 1 second. I think if you still have more to say, you can stay on speaker session. Ugo Chinyere has made a statement regarding this thing. Ugo Chinyere is a House of a rep member who fought with against the APC in Imo State. We know what the hopeless governor there, what he did to Ugo Chinyere. His house were burnt, cars were burnt in order to stop him from going. He's a very vocal. He's among the few PDP elected officials.
Okay. That man using a red
Yes,
this thing.
yes, yes. He's the for me. These people someone like him should be the chairman of PDP. Someone like him,
I tell
so
you
that
the
they can
truth.
wake up that dead party. But
Yes,
again,
I agree with you.
Nigeria, we are losing up every this idea of these old people that refuse to leave for power. They've destroyed opposition. I think young people need to take over our politics. All these old people should go and both Tinubu and all of them. They should go. They should go. They've done their bit. After all, many of them, even Buhari, them, they were ruling Nigeria at 20, 29, 30. Gowon was under 30 when he became Nigeria, when he took us to civil war. They've done enough damage. Let's listen to Gochinyere, guys.
First, the president has powers to declare emergency to restore security. That power we are not contesting is clear under section 345. Whether they have been enabling environment that warrant the declaration is a subject of debate. Yes. But the president does not have power to suspend a democratically elected governor, deputy governor, and a democratically constituted House of Assembly, despite our differences. Neither does the president have powers to appoint administrator. Listening to the president saying, I hereby appoint that, I say, where are you coming from? It's like somebody, because there's insecurity in the country, maybe somebody from the military takes over government and we're discussing on the legitimacy of it. And secondly, the president now went further. When he now, from nowhere, invoked a power that he does not have, to now usurp the powers of the National Assembly under Section 11 to make laws when the State Assembly breaks down and they cannot make laws. That Section 11 sub 4 said in a situation where the State Assembly cannot function, for whatever prevailing reason in that state, we make the law, we make the regulation. But the president now insulted us by bypassing that our constitutional power and then saying that the Federal Executive Council will ratify the resolutions made by the administrator. Who is the administrator? It's unknown to law. So how does he make regulation? And we're talking about the people of a state, a sovereign arm of the federating unit, not an arm of the federal government.
This proclamation is coming before should come before the National Assembly. So what do you expect?
For me, I can only speak for myself. Of course, I will oppose it. I will oppose it because one, the president has no powers to suspend a democratically elected leader from office. Even under that section that gives us power, under 11, to make laws for the governance of a state where the state assembly cannot work, forbids us from removing the governor or the deputy governor. Because a governor holds a secret sovereign mandate that comes directly from the people, that can only be taken by impeachment or incapacitations or death. The very moment, and again, remember in 2013, when President Goodluck Jonathan declared emergency in Borno, Yoruba, and Adamawa, Tinubu was one of the people who vehemently resisted it and said that it is a dangerous trend that portends danger for democracy and that is diabolic. And because of that, he opposed it, even when the governors of that state, including his VP today, Shetima, was the governor of Borno State, he was in office. So we are saying that if you allow a president to wake up, a democratic president, who used to be a Democrat, suddenly inviting the military to take control of a government of a state undemocratically because it declared an emergency. Okay, today, is there crisis in Rivers now? Are people dying on the street? Is there imminent danger? That we saw smokes from one pipeline that we didn't see whether it was broken. Was that enough for Mr. President to rush to declare emergency? If the president wanted to be honest, he could have also told, when the governor called for a peace meeting, did those lawmakers come? No. When he went to present budget, did they open the gate? No. When he even wrote them for presentation today, did they open the gate? No. The president did not even mention those things in his speech. He was busy lambasting the governor, since the governor is an appointee of the federal government. So that makes us have this feeling, some of us in the opposition, that is biased. And that is why we are saying it's very simple. There are certain things. If you remember the foundation of parliament all over the world after the French Revolution in 1776 or thereabouts, that is about limiting the powers of the king that was in excess at that moment. That if that indeed is the power today, then there are some things we need to separate the issue. Section 305, powers of the president to declare emergency, not in that. But the president has no powers to suspend a democratically elected governor and deputy governor, and does not also have power to suspend a constitutional House of Assembly. I may not like that House of Assembly, but the president has no power to suspend them. And then the president does not have power to appoint a sole administrator. Neither does he have power to say that a democratically elected leader should be out of office for 6 months. Why 6 months? Is there war in that place? Is there bombing now going on now? There was nothing that warranted it. Of course, he should head to court. I'm not going to speak for him. But some of us believe that it should not only be tested in court, and it should also be resisted. So, for me, there's no way, even with a gun on my head, that I will vote in support of that, because I can't defend it to my children that a democratic president will wake up and suspend a democratic governor and a democratic House of Assembly, appointed an administrator, and then go further to say that the powers to make regulation, he's not donating the power. Where did he get the power to donate? That the administrator will make regulation, and that the administrator will send the regulation to him, because he is the one that runs the Presidential Council. Then he will make veto or ratify the regulation. So why does this leave us as lawmakers? Under Section 11, if the State Assembly cannot function as a result of crisis in that State Assembly, the power to make laws for that State Assembly reverts to National Assembly. So there's no way I can vote. There's no way I can vote that my power as a lawmaker to make regulation when the State Assembly of a state is not functioning should be donated to the Federal Executive Council. So the president suspends the sitting governor in office, appoints an administrator, and then makes regulation for that state, and then oversights the administrator, and then National Assembly goes to sleep. I don't think I will vote for that. And that's why I'm speaking for myself, that I'm not going to vote for that. And I believe that any lover of democracy and constitutional governance will definitely not vote in support of that. This, yes, my Alpha peace, an opportunity for peace. Anything that will make peace return to River State will support that. But at the same time, we cannot tie ourselves to lay the foundation for constitutional crisis in the country in the long run, that anybody can suspend it. Even the parliament can be suspended under one guise or the other. So the limitation, there must be limitations. And that is why I said the condition, nobody can take control of any section of this country, any government of this country, without the democratically conditions spelled out in the constitution. So if you look at the provision in section 11, that power to make regulation or make laws where a state assembly is not working rests with the National Assembly. If you also look at section 305, there's no place where he gathers the power for him to go and then remove a sitting governor, appoint a administrator, and then make regulation for that state.
Now, how do you explain the fact that the leadership of the National Assembly was at that meeting where that decision was taken?
That is why I said parliamentary business, consultation is allowed. So if he consulted some people, fine and good. It's good that he consults. So when you finish consulting, they will brief for. That is why if you go to our rule book, before emergency declarations can be considered, we go into executive session. So I believe that whatever that was discussed in that consultation, when we go into executive session tomorrow, they will brief us on what he told them, so we can see from their own angle. So when we are seeing from the angle of the leadership, we match it with the provisions of the constitution. Bear it in mind that before you can make that consideration, the parliament must be properly constituted with two-thirds majority, which is about 240 something like that. But anything below that will be like a cube. It will not work. So when we listen to the consultation that have happened, then we match it with the constitutional provision. Vis-a-vis, should we donate our powers as lawmakers to the Federal Executive Council? Because there's principle of separation of power. You have sacked, you have suspended something you don't have power to suspend. Are you getting me? Now you are saying that you will you will review the regulations and pass it. So where does that leave us as representatives of the people? Section 11 was very clear that if the House of Assembly cannot work, it has broken down that there's insecurity, crisis, emergency rule, we make regulation. That's why you have principles of checks and balances. But he is saying now that the regulations will be sent to him, the man who suspended, and then he will approve it for the people of Rivers State. I think that is unknown to our constitutional provision. It has never happened, but the last time it happened under Passenger, the Supreme Court set it aside. And that is why when Jonathan now declared it, when he was in opposition, he left the executive officers to be in there, even when there is total breakdown of some of those local governments that have been taken over. This one, there's no crisis at all. No. There's tension that's brewing. There's just tension. There has not been, killing and burning of things all over. Just one pipeline that we didn't even see whether it was actually broken. So we don't even know who did that. So there's nothing. Is the situation right for it? No. But if this can lead to peace, fine and good. But then it must be done in accordance with the provision of the law, which means you remove the issue of suspending an elected officer. You remove the issue of stopping the powers of parliament to make regulations and make laws in a situation where the state assembly cannot function, and then do it the right way. Because I remember he said in 2013 that this is a dangerous trend that portends great danger to constitutional governance, and that it is diabolic. That is what Tinubu said in 2013 when Jonathan declared emergency in Yobe and Bruni. In that one, he didn't even remove the governors, but the president then called it a diabolic decision. So we believe strongly that now that this decision is unfair, is unconstitutional, and that we are not contesting your powers to declare emergency, even though it is subject of debate now that what has happened in Rivers, does it warrant an emergency? But let's say you, because of assumption and tension, you feel it should be declared. But where did you not get the power to suspend a democratically elected officer, a deputy governor, a governor, and a state assembly? Like I told you, I may not like the state assembly, but you don't have power to suspend them. The very moment you start suspending legitimate arms of government, somebody can come over and suspend you, the president. So if tomorrow somebody comes and says you are no longer the president, should we support the person because there's breakdown and law and order in Nigeria? It is wrong. There's provision laid down in the constitution. So we feel the president overreacted on the issue because, and in all that he said, he didn't even condemn his minister. So was Fubara fighting alone? Was he fighting himself? There was a fight between him and Wike. In all the threat Wike was issuing, the tensions was brewing in every part of Nigeria. Did the president not mention it? He didn't mention it, which makes some of us in a position to feel that, are you biased? Because he couldn't even mention it or condemn him. You left him in his office, and then you are condemning the governor who doesn't even have power. Because to maintain pipeline requires issues of security, which the president is the commander. So it's the president's responsibility. If that pipe is broken, he failed. It's not the governor, because the governor does not have power to command the state. After all, you people have even seized the allocation of the state. You don't even have money to.
All right, thank you. What you were listening to Ugo Chinyere there. I think the audio kind of fell silent a little bit. We are still taking reactions around the emergency declaration, and my big question to us is, why is the other party to this crisis not suspended? The Minister of FCT has his hands all over this crisis, and he seemed to have been ignored in the president's national broadcast. My concern, while I agree that it's a family feud, them, but it might have a consequence for other states if it's not challenged or pushed back. And the Honorable Gochinyere is clearly stating that, look, he's going to vote against this. The president cannot appropriate power or delegate power that he doesn't have, and are now sidelined the National Assembly. So what is even shocking is that they've gone ahead to swear in the military administrator even before the National Assembly has had their say. They've also gone ahead to release the funds that belong to Rivers people. We are talking of hundreds of billions. You know, Rivers get a lot, 13% derivation. A lot of money comes to Rivers State. That's why Rivers State is a hot button topic, because of the oil and gas revenue they generate. They get a lot. That money has been now given to the appointed administrator. The same money that was not given because of the Supreme Court judgment to the governor. So much is going on. And again, it is good that we are getting reactions, because this is very important. It might have consequences for your own state. So do not say, Rivers matter not concern me. David, you were speaking before I interjected. You want to round up, then I will now bring in other
Yes,
speakers.
let me quickly round up. Honorable Ugo has been a very vocal voice. I think he's the, I don't know if, I think he's the is he the president chair of the coalition of opposition parties in Nigeria? I can't really
CUPP. Yes, yes, yes,
CUPP.
yes.
Yeah, yes. So one thing is clear. The Attorney General, although I don't expect anything less from that one, though, looking at the antecedent from Lagos down to where he is today, said something. They systematically confer to the president the power to do and undo. So just like he stated, if this is allowed to go, if this is not challenged by everywhere meaningful Nigeria, forget about 2027, because if you as a governor, all you just need is to create chaos. Once you instigate crisis in your state, the next thing is to declare state of emergency, and you will remember the person in power. He doesn't even, Jonathan is still a Democrat. This person in power is the same person that has been with Abacha, that has been with the then military leaders down to this present era that we are. So you understand the power, how to invoke, how to abuse, and how to exercise power to the fullest without missing anything. So if this thing goes unchallenged, at the end of the day, you will wake up by 2027 and discover that is either the opposition that are still remaining is doing the bidding of the president, or there is no opposition. Because the next thing will be, if you cough, they remove you. And don't come out and say your vote can't help. Presently in Nigeria today, until INEC electoral reform is done, until judicial reform is done, and every recommendation that is found on the Ways report is duly implemented, passed into law before May 2026, before the commencement of party primaries, forget about 2027, your vote will not count. And there is nothing Nigerians can do. One, because we are all divided by ethnic lines, tribalism, and at the bottom of it all is poverty and extreme hunger. So look at the people that was protesting against Senator Natasha in Abuja. Some don't even know the content of the placard they are carrying. Or they just know that they've mobilized them with few change and they are out there. This is to tell you how extreme poverty has dealt with Nigerians. So in conclusion, the president will never suspend Wike because Rivers money is needed for 2027 agenda. He will never. Two, the Ijaw nation has proven that they are cowards. Forget about why are they not reacting towards it? Everywhere is just silent. And at the end of the day, Fubara is just one man. If you've been in a state, if you've witnessed firsthand a state that has been, you've experienced state of emergency being declared in a state, and you experience state of emergency declaration in a state and its implementation firsthand, you will understand the saddening state of the people of Rivers State and how powerless and helpless Fubara is at the moment. I yield.